Lesson 7 Credit Card Example. Amy starts with a balance of $899 on a credit card with an APR of 18%. She starts making monthly payments of $150. Over the next 4 months, her charges to her credit card are $60, $105, $20, and $142. Assume the interest for a given month is based on the ending balance for the previous month. Complete the following table to find Amy's final balance after 4 months. So they've given us this information over here, and I filled in some of it here, but I would actually like to go through the process of finding some of these just to show you how these were calculated using Excel. The expenses, however, are not calculated. These ones were just given to us, so we have to put those in. So I'm going to add in the 20 and 142, which is filling in the blanks here. The payment is $150 every month. Since I've typed it in, I can just click and drag and it'll fill in the $150. So that's another way to do that. The interest is being built off of the beginning balance for the month, and so we're going to take our APR and divide it by 12, since 12 is N, and then multiply it to the beginning balance, and that'll give us how much the interest is. The ending balance will be whatever is left over, so she paid $150, but she has to pay more with the interest. So we'll take the beginning balance, then we'll subtract what she paid, but then we have to add on the expenses and also the interest. So then we press enter, and you can see that that's where these two numbers came from. Now the beginning balance here will be the same as the ending balance for the previous month, and that will be the same all the way through all of the months. The next thing is, since this is cell referencing, I actually don't have to refigure it out every single time. If I were filling this in by hand, then I would have to be calculating this elsewhere and then filling it in. Since I have it typed here, I can click and drag if I have everything referenced correctly. So I'm going to double click in here, and I can see that this B4 is referencing the beginning balance, and as I click and drag, I want it to correctly reference the beginning balance of that month. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone, because as I drag it, it's going to come down with me. But this first part, D1, as I drag, it's going to also drag down with me. Since there are 4 months and I'm going to be dragging it down 4 cells, it'll reference this 18, then it'll reference this, and then this and this, and that's not correct. We want it to always reference 18, or we could have just typed in the 18%. But since I referenced this 18 that I typed in, I want to go ahead and absolute cell reference that, and I can do that several different ways. On a PC, I can do that by doing function F4, so that I have the F4 button, depending, I guess, on your keyboard. Mine, I have to press function F4. Some just have the F4 at the top, but either way, you need your function or F4. If I do that again, you'll notice it scrolls through a list of putting in the dollar signs. Now, I could type those dollar signs in by hand if you want to, but it's faster for me just to do function F4. Now, the first one right here says that it's absolute referencing the, absolute referencing the column D, and then this says that it's absolute referencing the row 1, which means that this is the cell where they collide. D1 will always be that one. If I scroll through some more, so I'm going to press function and F4 again, you'll see that it's just referencing the row 1. And this one would be absolute referencing the column D, and this, it takes it away. Now I want both the row and the column so that it stays at D1. If you're on a Mac, the same process is Command T, and then you can also scroll through all of those options as well. Okay, so now that that's absolute cell referenced, when I click and drag here in this bottom corner, it will continue to reference this, but this one where I didn't absolute cell reference, it's going to drag down with me, which is good because I want the beginning balance to continue to come down as the months progress. Okay, and then because this beginning balance is referencing the ending balance here, And this one here is referencing all of the cells here, taking your beginning balance, adding or subtracting the payment, adding expenses and interest. This one I can also click and drag, and you can see that that's adding and subtracting all of the correct cells to that side of me as well. And so I can then highlight all of this if I want it. Oh, not all of those. I can highlight this and then drag it down, and you'll see it doesn't have it here yet because I don't have an ending balance, but it is referencing that, so don't delete it. And then these are all correct, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that, and then again drag this one, and it'll fill in the rest of them because now it has something to reference down here. We can double check and make sure that nothing else changed. Now, if you aren't comfortable with that, you can go through and do each of those cells by hand once again, and that's fine, you can do that, but it is faster to just click and drag. Now, you'll notice that mine is different by 1 penny here. My only conclusion is that they rounded and I did not. I went ahead and, because I cell referenced everything, it's exactly on. Unless I made a typo somewhere, nope. So if I wanted to change that so that all of the pennies work out, you can go ahead and add a penny here if you would like, or just type in the number, and that'll change all of these as well. So that's how you work through it, but the way I did it, by the way, will be how the rest of the projects and the Excel projects will work out, so that all of the pennies will end up canceling out at the end.